This is not NBC. No, it's not. This is, guess what it is?
Can
TV. Well, you got it. Can TV Channel 21. And you're here to listening to seeing Black Star Still Rising. And I'm your host, Stephen, Silver Black Butterfly Carter. And I've got a lovely guest we're going to introduce you to in a little while. But we're here because of Philip Jackson, the founder of the Black Star Project and also the sponsor of the Black Star Project program. Glad to have you here. And I want to shout out to some important people because we get pushed at the end. And I want to make sure we give glory to the folks who have been here and a part of. Let me do a shout out to Gloria Smith, who is the executive director of the Black Star Project and who has made this possible by having Black Star Project as a sponsor. I want to shout out to our studio producers, and that's Imani. And even though Rocio is not here, Rocio Santos is the other studio producer along with Imani Payne. Couldn't do this without Darius Hillman, who is the executive director of CAN TV, who makes this possible and has organizations like the Black Star Project able to provide services and information to the communities. So Darius, and I would be remiss if I did not have a shout out to Dr. Michael Washington, who is our associate producer for guest engagement, and Ellis Taylor, the associate producer for what's the other one now? You don't know?
No.
that's media engagement. That's Ellis. Because you missed Ellis this time, but he'll catch him the next time around. Okay. Thank you, folks, for being here. You folks out at the Atlas Center on 79th and at the Kroc Center. Glad you're still watching us. Keep your questions coming in and give your suggestions as to who you'd like to have on the program. Got a great guest here today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, but first of all, her name is Lois Parr. And Lois is I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. She's a graduate of SIU, native of Chicago, but spent time in Georgia and in Wisconsin, came back home to Chicago and ended up in Richton Township?
Yes.
Okay. And now here's the interesting part. Tell folks what your degree is in.
My degree is in biological science.
What? You're a scientist too? And
right, I do a lot.
You do a lot, and you cover a multitude of sins, if I can put it that way. Because you are also the program coordinator.
Yes.
What is
for
it?
the Black Star Project.
And which project? Which program is that? Is that the Kimberly Lightford Saturday University?
Yes, sir.
So you're a university professor.
We could say that.
We'll say that.
You can say that.
And I've got to have you talk a little bit about, not a little bit, but about 25 minutes worth, about what the Kimberly Lightford Saturday University is about. Okay. But tell us first, how did you happen to come to be a volunteer and to work with the Black Star Project?
Okay, so it was just one day. I was with one of my friends, and she was actually involved in the program, and she was just like, I want you to come meet somebody. So
who might that have been?
I ended up meeting Miss Gloria Smith,
our executive director.
Yes.
So you're on a first name basis with her.
Yes.
Okay, with yourself.
I met her, and I came in, and she was like, "Yeah, we're happy to have you." At the time, I was teaching at a transition program for special needs students, and she just came in and said, we would definitely love to, use you, and you can help us. And so from there, I just started, and that was about 3-4 years ago. So
this is also commercial. Black Star Project always needs volunteers with talents to share with some of our target groups, okay?
Yes, exactly.
Tell us a little bit what particular target groups you have and what happens at the university there, Kimberly I said Lightfoot, it's Lightford.
Lightford. It's fun.
Okay.
So at Kimberly Lightford Saturday University, or KLSU for short, we kind of focus on.
Well, tell us where it is now.
Okay, so it's actually in Maywood,
Okay.
Illinois. It's on the west side for anyone who doesn't know where that
West
is.
side?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm a south sider here, but it's on the west side of Maywood, and it's on every Saturday during the school year. So whenever kids are in school,
Saturdays?
on Saturdays, it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Just started, didn't it?
Yes,
this
it just
semester?
started this semester on May 1st. And it
What
ends,
ages? What age group of kids are coming there?
The age group we have is from about 11 to 13, 14 years old.
Is that
So
fourth grade to up to high school?
We target 6th through 8th grade.
6th through 8th.
Yes, but we do take some students who are in like 4th grade, 5th grade, but you know, our main target is those middle school students.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Even though you started last week, you'll still take in students and they can do some catch up, and you'll challenge them to get into sync with everybody else. So, okay, go ahead.
Yes, we're still taking students. We're also taking parents too, because we do have some parents that do volunteer and help us out with the program. So yes, we are taking parents, students, and everyone, just who wants to be involved.
Okay, Ms. Parr, can I tell the audience what number they should call?
Yes.
Or do you want to read it?
I can read it.
Read it. Read it right down there.
So the number to call to inquire about our program, it's 773.
Read this now. 773.
285.
285.
9600.
9600. That's the number they should call.
Yes.
And somebody will either answer the phone, and it's not like other places. Somebody will return your call if you leave a voicemail message.
Yes.
Okay.
We will.
You can count on that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Saturdays, come on, tell us a little bit about the program and your special talent, gift that you are sharing with them. And what can a parent or grandparent or uncle, aunt, or kid of that age expect to get out of this program? What will they do on average day?
So an average day, we come in, we do a thing called Community Circle. Community Circle is basically where we all come together in a big circle, and we start off talking about different things. For instance, we've had a topic about our aspirations in life. What do we want to be when we grow up? And I feel like that's a really good way to start off a program, just because, you know, kids don't want to come in feeling like they're in school.
This is kind of an icebreaker for folks?
Yes, it's kind of like an icebreaker to get kids to talking, just so when they start going to their classes, they can be engaged with their instructor. So we do a community circle, and that's about 15 minutes, and then we have the kids transition to their different classes.
Do they pick or choose the classes, or they rotate with a certain specific class to go to?
So, yes, they do rotate with their grade level, and they kind of stick with the students that are their age, just because, you know, we don't really want to mix them up like that, because in school they are not mixed up. So you
want to put them in their comfort level in terms of their maturity?
Yes, maturity, just, yeah.
And can parents come in and watch and see what's going on too?
Yes, actually parents can watch. Like I was saying earlier, how parents can come in and volunteer if they want to come and do something, or they could just, you know, just watch, go through the classes with their students. That's
they can
also
learn some
fine.
things themselves.
Right.
Huh?
We also, you know, we teach new things. We teach a lot about Black history. And I know a lot of schools aren't really focusing on that, so that's where we come in. We kind of...
You supplement what may have been left out in some of the schools now. Okay.
Yes, that's exactly what we do. And then they transition throughout their classes, sort of like a typical middle school schedule or like a high school schedule. They transition.
Well, let me talk about a few of those specific things. So they caught my eye, and I said, maybe I should sign up for one of these classes, right? We had a little conversation before we started about the STEAM program rather than STEM.
Yes.
Many folks are familiar with STEM, S-T-E-M, but not STEAM.
STEAM.
Tell us the difference.
Okay, so STEAM stands for science, technology,
Science, technology,
engineering, art, and math.
and math. All
Yes.
those things that you are kind of a Renaissance woman on that, right?
Yes.
Okay. To tell the truth, I know you are, but go ahead.
So we like to focus on that, and we added STEAM just because we do feel like art is also very essential, especially when you talk about students who want to be producers or students who are like graphic designers, and we like to hone in on all of those
And
talents.
that's the A in STEAM now.
Yes.
That was added to STEM.
Yes.
Okay. Who teaches the art thing, the A part?
So we do have a instructor. Her name is Kenya. She does come in and do art projects with the students.
Is that Kenya who was at the Essential place? Is that 35th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's Kenya from Anything Essential.
Yes, okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah, she comes in sometimes and does like art sessions with the students, and not even just that. We also in each class we do have art projects for the students to, work on and just so they can be creative. We don't always just focus on reading books and.
It's not like a regular school.
Yeah,
It
it's
can
not.
be boring.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, it's a lot of engagement. Now,
Yes.
what about the S? That's the science part. And that's your
Yeah, that's my
your
specialty.
forte. Okay. Tell us, if a student came, if I sent my grandson or granddaughter there, what would they pick up from you? You said,
They would pick up a lot, but
bet.
I guess if we're focusing on the science portion,
Yes.
just making sure that just fun projects and making sure that they know like the history behind some of like Black History Month just passed, and we
Okay.
have a lot of scientists that are Black that have paved the way for different just Black people in general, but also Black people in STEM.
Would the students be surprised at how many Black people and brown people are involved and have history in the United States, but people don't know about?
Yes, you actually would be surprised.
Surprise me with one that I don't know. You go with that who again?
We're going to say...
That's thoughtful who, right?
is it George Washington Carver?
Okay, I'll check that box. I know who he is. That's the
Yes.
peanut guy, right?
Yep, that's the peanut guy. I mean, a lot of people know who he is, but again, a lot of people don't.
They think it's just peanut butter, Skippy
Yes.
and Jiffy.
Yes.
But it's more than that because he was a scientist too. Can you say a little bit about George Washington Carver?
He was a Black scientist. He created the peanut butter, peanuts, and...
A lot of scientific experiments.
Yes, a lot of experiments involving that. So
Now, what about the math? Is that one of your fortes too?
that's also one of my fortes. I actually, before I became a program coordinator for KLSU, I was a math teacher for KLSU, and
Calculus too?
we didn't teach calculus just because that wasn't in the curriculum for
But you
kids
could.
through 6th through 8th grade. But yes, I could.
Not many people can get into calculus. They go to
Yeah,
algebra
calculus
and
is
geometry.
hard.
It's something
Yes.
I've always dreamed about it, but that's as far as it's gone.
Ooh. What a dream.
I had to be a dreamer to dream about calculus. Okay. Okay. But any of the math areas that you like particularly that are challenging for you that gave you some satisfaction too?
I will say one area that I did teach a lot to the students was like fractions.
Okay.
I feel like fractions are really challenging. Even when I was growing up and learning about them, that was challenging for me. So I think that particular subject was really good to teach the students just because it kind of...
Applications?
Yes, the
I
applications.
think one of the applications for me is I know how to measure stuff. If I'm doing a half portion to make a cake or doing something,
Right.
I know how the fractions help me be able to do that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's what we're teaching. We're trying to teach you guys how to, apply different things in the real world too, even with math. So
I would guess that the environmental justice, that's the one that excited me, that whet my appetite. Tell us about what environmental justice means.
So we have two instructors there at Kimberly Lightford Saturday University, and they teach a course called Earth Remedies, which is the environmental...
Earth Remedies, go ahead,
yes,
please.
which is the environmental justice portion. But with that course, the students get a feel for, what's going on in the environment. It also teaches them how to be more sustainable.
When you say the environment, where they live, or the county, or the city, or what's the environment that you're speaking of when you talk about that?
So the environment I'm speaking of is the community that we all live in, and they focus on the west side just because that's where we're located.
Okay.
But they do community cleanups. They walk around the neighborhood.
Oh, so they volunteer too. You get them involved, engaged in doing something that helps their environment and their communities.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, that's what we get them involved in their community, learn how to be more sustainable.
Sustainable meaning that you want to maintain an environment that's a welcoming environment, the atmosphere, the neighborhood, etc.
Exactly.
But where's the justice part come in?
The justice parts comes in where it's just basically they're just like kind of not really demanding like others do the same thing, but kind of inspiring others to do those same things, and that's where it comes in.
I guess justice to me means that if an environment is not pleasing, not beneficial, the justice is in finding justice. How do you make any environment that you live in or you're engaged in a comfortable, welcoming place? Is that what they cover too?
Yes. They cover that as well. They also learn about different things in the environment. Like, for instance, last semester, they worked heavily on birds. They talked about the different types of birds in the environment.
Is that with this bird flu? Was that happening in the bird flu or some other things? Like these birds crashing into McCormick Place on the migration? Is that kind of what they do with the birds?
No, they kind of just learned about the different types of birds in the environment. I guess that would be relevant if that was going on last year, but
it might be something they might tackle.
Yeah, that might be something they tackle this year.
What is this bird flu? Because it's had a cost on our eggs. You heard about that too?
Yes, eggs are too high.
You have to switch to something else for breakfast besides bacon and eggs. All right.
Right.
Okay. And coding, I have no idea what coding means, and that's really something that's fascinating me. Mm-hmm. And I think it's. Go and tell those people out in the south suburbs, etc. Tell them about that.
Okay, so coding, that's just focusing on like the computer and like IT, which is informational technology.
Okay.
And learning how to, for instance, if you think about people who play video games, not play video games, but create those video games that you play. That's where coding comes in.
How does that come in? Because my grandson got a degree in coding at the University of Milwaukee, and he likes making and creating games. Is that where it comes in?
Yes, that's where it comes in. It's someone on the back end, how you press the select button. There's someone, creating codes for you to be able to select that.
And a code means that you use some binary numbers, on, off kinds of things. Is that still something that they still use in programming?
Yes. From my knowledge, yes. They're using numbers and letters and different symbols to help them create these codes.
And that's like creating something that they have cars crashing and things like that? Okay. Yeah. Is that what you teach?
No, I do not teach that.
You can knock everything out.
I've taught math.
Okay.
But
okay, what about the other thing? I see linguistics is on the map too, on the things.
Yes.
Is that just, what is it, languages or what?
Yes, that's exactly what that is. So that's languages and just teaching you how to use different words and the meanings behind certain words, and just like just like just language.
Okay, and the best use of language and communicating.
Yes.
Can I take a minute to make a station break? You might say,
Yes,
and
that is
I
fine.
better say something about the Black Star Project and other things that's there, because it's not just the Kimberly Lightford University. We also have, listen now, write this information
Write
down.
it down.
I'm going to have you give that phone number again, too.
Okay.
The Philip Jackson Youth Development Program, that starts, it started already.
It started, yes.
All right, and that's on Fridays from 5 to 7. And I'll give you a quick overview. Receive support and preparation for the world beyond high school.
From ages 12 to 18 years old.
12 to 18.
Yes.
You can read over my shoulder. You can see a long ways away. Okay. Then there's the Philip Jackson Freedom School. Now, what does that do? The Philip Jackson Freedom School is a community-based program dedicated to advancing equality while supporting student and family well-being and academic success. What days are those?
That is March 1st through May 10th.
So that's just started.
Yes, and that's every
Saturday
as well.
And that's on 35th Street, right?
Yes, 35th and King Drive.
From 10
to 12 p.m.
You read well, too. And then we have the Young Black Men of Honor. That's one of the newest programs,
Yes,
I think. And that's
it
been an
is.
exciting program. That's on Tuesdays. Oh, they're conflicting with us. They start
Sorry.
right up, yeah, okay. They're on Tuesdays. This will go in through May. And from, was that 6 to 7? 6 to 7?
6 to 7:30 p.m.
Okay. And what's the number there that you have? I'll repeat after you.
Okay, it is 773
773
285
285.
9600.
Write this down because you're going to call tomorrow.
Yes,
And
call
you're going to
tomorrow.
talk to somebody or leave a message for you, Lois?
Yes, or you
Perhaps.
can leave a message for me.
Okay, and you call them back?
Yes, I'll call you guys back.
Okay, I like that in you. All right, we got that part out of the way. Tell me something about the interesting things that you've experienced I can call you professor, can I?
That's
I'll call you Professor. Professor Parr. Talk
Yes.
about some of the interesting things that you've had that's excited you or gave you some degree of fulfillment in this program. Why it's good to be a volunteer.
Okay, so some things I've experienced. I know when I transitioned over to being the program coordinator, and I kind of transitioned out of being a math teacher there. I had a couple of students asking me like, "Oh no, Miss Parr, Miss Lois, you aren't teaching math anymore." I told them, "Yes, I will, if time permits, but if we have a reason where our math teacher can't show up."
That's when you jump in there.
Yes, and I jump in
Do
and
they
help
take
out.
advantage of substitute teachers like you did in high school? You know how you did the substitute.
No, we actually have a great group of kids.
Okay.
They're very mannerable, polite, it's like a family, honestly.
That's the atmosphere that they're creating. So folks,
Yes.
grandpas, grandmas, get your grandkids, them. What's the age again for the school?
So it's from 11 years old to 13, 14 years old. So from 6th to 8th grade.
What's been the most gratifying things for you over the few years that you've been doing this, especially going from, I shouldn't say mere instructor, but instructor plus coordinating programs too?
That's a really good question.
I throw tough questions every once in a while. You know that, don't you?
I would say the most gratifying part is just seeing students starting from a young kid. Like I had a student that came in at 6th grade, and this particular student is getting ready to graduate from middle school from 8th grade,
Okay.
and to go into high school. And I just love to see the growth that these students experience in our program, and I feel like they're just setting great examples for future students who decide to join our program, and also just being a great role model.
They're getting a head start in
Yes.
preparing from high school. They're coming from middle school to high school or whatever. We went from grammar school to high school back in the day. That's been a couple of years.
Yeah.
But that's a head start for them.
Yes.
And that's why your parents, your grandparents, uncles, whoever takes care of or has an interest in the children, their family, and their neighborhood, give them the address and some more details again about the Kimberly Lightford Saturday University, where you are the professor.
Okay, so we are located in Maywood, Illinois.
What's the address there?
And it's actually at the Maywood Park District.
Okay.
And the address is 921 South 9th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois.
And for information, what number do they call again?
And you're going to call 773-285-9600.
I think after this particular presentation by you, you might get an encore invitation.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, not everybody gets an encore invited back again, but I think over this next year, you're going to want to come back and tell more and more about the program and what the kids are experiencing and some of these great stories that are coming out of that you've been a part of. That's the idea. Volunteers, you have talent. People out there have talents.
Yes.
And they should be bringing their talent and helping the community. Mm-hmm. I want to thank you so much. And Gloria, thank you for recommending Lois here for the program today. And folks, you better be calling. I'm going to say it one more time.
773 285
Write this down. And
9600.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Here, we give this a traditional shake.